A lot of people were really interested in my path on how I became a data analyst and how they can become one too. Hi there, my name's Alexandra. I'm a remote data analyst, and today I want to talk about how I almost tripled my income, going from 40K to over 6 figures just through one change in my career. I'll share why I became a data analyst, the skills, traits, and data storytelling tricks companies are looking for, where to find jobs and why you should apply even if you're underqualified, what I actually do as a data analyst, and why I'm not worried about AI taking over my role. I studied engineering and psychology, and right before I became a remote data analyst, I was in clinical research. And one thing that really became a primary motivator for me was learning that it takes 17 years from research findings to be implemented into practice. I wanted something where I can make change faster, and that's what led me to data analyst. I wanted to be comfortable, make hot tea from home, never have it be cold and from a sad paper cup and burn my hand as I'm trying to walk down a hallway. I wanted comfort, I wanted convenience, and I wanted better pay. You don't necessarily need a background in data science to become a data analyst. A lot of jobs do just require a bachelor's in any discipline, so don't be shy, go ahead and apply. I also want to talk about some skills that I personally think are really important for a data analyst to have. For a lot of these roles, you do need experience in at least one coding language. And additionally, you need a relational database management experience. All of these skills that I have right now, I did learn while I was already in my previous role, making 40K, working in a hospital environment. I did have a little bit of coding experience. I was familiar with R and Python, and those skills are translatable. And so if you already know how to do it in one, it's pretty easy to learn how to do it in another. And then for SQL, after reading through a bunch of job descriptions, and that was a skill that I was seeing over and over again, something that I didn't have yet, I checked out a few books from the library, would skim through them just to kind of understand the basics. And I realized I was able to connect it with something that I had learned previously, which was a little bit of Access. So really it's talking about different tables and how to relate them to get answers out of your data, especially if you're working with really large data sets, for instance, like from hospital systems, like what I look at now. So after kind of just increasing my exposure to SQL, reading about it a little bit, I wanted to take online courses. So I highly recommend Coursera. A lot of these classes are free if you finish it within a certain time period. I think when I was taking it, they had a 7-week free trial. They probably still do have something like that. So go ahead, sign up for one course and just finish it within those 7 days or whatever that time limit is. If you happen to finish one course early, please feel free to take another. There are a few courses that have a couple like different classes within them, so I think you can go ahead and complete like a SQL track. And it's okay if those skills don't directly apply to the role that you're looking for, but you're able to start talking about relational database management systems in your interviews. There are also a lot of skills that I encountered in a lot of those job descriptions that I still don't have today. So don't feel pressured. You don't need to know every single skill that you're encountering as you read through these applications. For instance, a lot of companies are looking for exposure to business intelligence tools. A lot use Tableau, or they might want you to make Tableau dashboards on a daily basis. But I think start learning now, and any exposure you can still talk about in your interviews. There's data analyst work in any field that you're already in, so you can play that to your strengths. Even if you don't have a lot of the data experience, if you're in an interview talking about your experiences, you can say, hey, I've been in healthcare for, 10 years, and I've been taking these classes online, I've been gaining more exposure to this, and walk them through why you're making that jump. Another trait that I think is really important in being a data analyst is that you're curious. So in addition to the primary question that your stakeholders have, it's really great to have the bandwidth to be more exploratory with your analysis. Another important skill that's not technical is data storytelling. Really, it's breaking it down in layman's terms and starting from a problem, working through the data, sparing the stakeholders from the nitty-gritty kind of things that you encountered, and really getting it to craft a story. There's a context, you want to start with the big picture, what the issue is, what the question is, and then kind of trickle down into your data, walking someone through your decision-making and logical process that got you to your answer that you're presenting on today. But yeah, it's great working from home, highly recommend it. If you're self-disciplined, if you're able to, set your own schedule and stick to it. To find my current job, I looked at a lot of different job sites, but to be honest, there were only 2 ones that I really used, which are, I feel like everyone is already familiar with, Indeed and LinkedIn. In those job boards, feel free to filter by remote work. So I know this can be a little daunting. You might think, should I sacrifice my salary just to work from home? And I want to tell you right now, no, don't sacrifice your salary just to be able to work from home. There are definitely a wide range of salaries available, and there is work for you without having to make a dramatic sacrifice. Don't sell yourself short. Since I have a psychology background, I'm full of facts and figures, and I'm in data analytics. So when you're reading a job description, let's say you don't meet all of the requirements. Most women won't apply unless they meet 100% of those requirements. And men, with all of their audacity, will still apply when they only meet 60% of the requirements. I want to encourage you, and women especially, to apply to jobs even if you don't meet all of those requirements. They might not be as important as you think. It might not be 100% a requirement already, especially if it's something like years of experience. If they say minimum of 5 years and you have 3 or 4, go ahead and apply. So don't sell yourself short. Once again, be more bold and open-minded about the types of jobs that you apply to, especially if they're already remote. Another thing to keep in mind is as you're applying to these jobs, I know it's a lot of work, but definitely tailor your resume to those jobs. ChatGPT is really great at comparing both your resume and a job description and highlighting traits that it thinks you should bring to the table and put at the forefront of your application. No, I'm not sponsored by ChatGPT. And with anything produced by ChatGPT, always go through it yourself before giving it to someone else. You want to make sure the ChatGPT result / your actual finalized result is accurate. It's not adding anything that you haven't done. It's being true to your own experiences, your own resume, your own story. Feel free to tweak it, make it in your own words. So really the aim for my data analyst job is using data to drive business decision making. I partner with stakeholders in my same company, but from different teams. So they'll come to me, they have questions about the data they're generating. We have roughly monthly projects. So there are 2 main types of questions that stakeholders tend to ask me. One is a current versus future state question. So they just want to know how they're doing for this year. Are they on track? Yes or no. And the other type is they've already implemented something and they want to talk about the changes. So I'll have 2 different data sets before the change and after the change and talk about their progress. Aren't you worried your job will be completely replaced by AI soon? No. There's a great quote from a friend that I heard one time, and they said that AI itself will never replace you or your job, but people who use AI will replace those who do not. And the most important trait for a data analyst to have is actually being a lifelong learner and the desire to continue to grow. So it's really important to keep up with the current tools. The landscape is always changing, especially with the introduction of AI, ChatGPT. And I wish you the best of luck. I know it's possible for you. Don't sacrifice your salary expectations. Let me know how your path changes. I might do a little more Q&A style content in the future. Hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you next week. Take care.